Thank you. I'm going to direct this next question to Pam. And Pam, can you talk a little bit about the marketing and promotion side of college sport?
Well, I think obviously with my move into college sports, I obviously see it as a growth area, and it's something that, you know, as the economy continues to tighten, you're not going to see, again, a college or university out there that doesn't have to figure out how to make more money. And it doesn't matter if you are a D3, a junior college, or Michigan, no one has enough money. What every single athletic program across the country is realizing is they have some phenomenal things that all of their great staff has built, but that ability to monetize it is a whole separate area of expertise. And that's what I do: marketing, brand strategy, brand equity, marketing ROI. Kind of all of those phrases that are foreign to college sports are what I've grown up on for 20 years in the industry, no matter what sector you work in. If you're involved in marketing and sales, I have to convince you as a company that you're better off spending your money on my team, on my brand, with my whatever, than with someone else.
Thanks. Thanks, Pam. I'll direct my next question to Coach Kellogg. Coach, what do you think are the major changes you've seen in the coaching profession in the past 15 years, and how has the role of coach changed since you've been coaching?
The biggest thing is as the players, as the students, as the kids on campus kind of change and evolve, I think the biggest thing is if you want to be successful in this business, you have to keep up with the times. You can't be thought of as the, I guess, old fogey or the guy who doesn't know what's going on out there. And really the biggest thing's been the social media, I think, on whether it be through recruiting. Kids don't really want to talk to you anymore on the phone. It's like, hey, good, nice talking to you, but they'll text or Twitter or Facebook with you all day long. And then the interaction with kids is a lot different than it used to be. I think the screaming and talking, I don't want to say down to players, but not being on the same level with them has changed. I mean, I think all students, all college kids want a level of respect. They want to understand that not only are you here in a basketball world or as a student athlete, but they also want to have a relationship with the coaching staff and family members. And so what you're seeing is players are willing now to travel anywhere in the world as long as it's a good opportunity for them, as long as it's the best place for them. And our job is not only do we have to be coaches, not only do we have to be on top of them with academic advisors academically, on top of them socially, but on top of that we've become their families away from home in a certain aspect to make sure that they feel comfortable. And at that first raindrop, at that first bump in the road, they're not jumping on a plane back to, say, Washington.
Joan, next question for you. Do you think with the NCAA's recent tightening on academic standards, with the APR, graduation success rate, and possible sanctions to schools if they don't meet minimum standards, do you think there's going to be a growth in college academic support departments? And if so, how will that impact your job, and what do you think your job will look like in the future? Or departments like yours in the future?
Laurie, I think you're right that the academic standards, I've been in this, a little too old here, but I've been in it a while, and the academic standards have, I started out, there were no academic standards in the 70s. And as we have gone through the decades, they have tightened and tightened and tightened. And the APR has been a wonderful, there's some negatives to it, but it actually has brought academics to the forefront. We used to be in a department that nobody cared about, nobody, you know, we were there to help them as long as they were eligible, but nobody really cared because there was no, right now we have coaches are going to be responsible for their own APR, and it's going to follow them to schools. And that academic progress rate is really very important. And now we are tightening the standards for the freshmen coming in. And hopefully that means that the freshmen will be a little brighter coming in, and that the academic support may not have to be as tight or as much. We've actually expanded to add the latest thing. Academic counselors are part of my staff, but learning specialists are now part of the staff, which 10 years ago you never heard that there was an athletic learning specialist on the staff. When I first got in this business, that wasn't, coaches didn't really care, just to make sure they're eligible. So I think it's been wonderful. I think that that's why they're in school, they're student athletes, and I agree. I think that there will be more emphasis on having more support per student athlete, because it's hard to, you know, right now we have about one counselor to every 125 student athletes, and it's hard.
I've got two more questions, and I think you guys talked about the work experience that's needed, internships, trying to break in overall. But could you just speak, and Coach, you spoke a little bit to it. What are the personal characteristics when you look at a young person entering our profession? What do you look for, the personal characteristics that they need to have so they can be successful?
Me first?
Sure.
Energy. That's my number one thing. I like people with energy. When I walk into a room, if the person, if they just look miserable and not energized, and I'm not uplifted when I see them, don't come around me. I cannot have people coming in my office bringing you negative stuff to my desk. If you want to come in and do it in a positive way and be energized and have a smile on your face, you can be around me all day long.
A very high energy, and that's indicative of what it takes. And that high energy can't be just turned on and turned off. You have to naturally, like Coach said, naturally be passionate about what you want to do and what you're trying to do, and have that ability to come back at it every single day.
My profession, they have, basically what we're looking for is someone who can relate to student athletes. Can you relate to a college student? No matter what age you are, can you relate to them? The second thing is, can you listen? Are you a good listener? Because we need counselors, and counselors are good listeners. And so you have to be patient. You have to be able to listen. You have to be able to feed back some information.
We've got just 2 minutes left, but what I'd like is each of the panelists, just if you could share any advice with the sport management majors who are here today about accessing a good career, what would that be?
As crazy as they say this economy is and as bad as it is out, it's not. You can make it. You can do it. You know what? It might be a little harder. You might have to knock the next person off. You might have to be in a battle for whatever it might be. But you know what? That's what's going to make that pinnacle even more special when you get there. But it is a special thing to be able to do, is do something you love. And I would tell each and every one of you to just, chase your dream and chase it as hard as you can, because I think in the United States, just about anything's possible.
When you figure out what you want to do, go after it. But then I would challenge you to let go of the control. And let go a little bit and really go after what you're passionate about. You're not going to be able to control every step of your path.
Do what you love. Do something that you love, that you would love doing every day, and then be passionate about what you're doing and do it well. It really, really helps to just get to know as many people as you can in any way that you can, and let them have a positive something to say about you, and that's how you're going to get your foot in the door.
Let's give a round of applause for these great panelists.